Okay, so now you're going to start to see how we're going to set up the transition game going from the pass straight to submission hunting, okay? So one of my favorite things to do in no-gi, and it's one of the best times to find the submission, is in transition while they're still thinking about defending the pass and, you know, they're opening up themselves or exposing themselves for a lot of choke attacks, okay? And the first one we're going to look at is the Darce choke, all right? And all of these are going to come off the same pass that we just covered. So you're going to see me do the whole sequence on how this can unravel just as if I was really trying to pass his guard, okay? So everything's going to be the same. I'm going to push him down, look for that second ankle, okay? Little 1-2, pass the legs, start to get to the hip, look to clear that leg. Now at this point, no one wants to just stay flat and accept the pass, okay? He wants to start to get on his side and get ready to defend, recover his guard, things like that, all right? So now when he gets onto his side, his head becomes in more reach, all right? Now what I want to do is start to look for the Darce attack, immediately paying attention to where this arm is. So once I get this far, now my hand is going to creep from his hip, start to slide through his arm, and go towards his head, okay? With my second hand, I'm going to come and palm his head. Now I want to lift his head up towards his shoulder to allow me to have space to bring my arm in really deep, okay? I'm not pulling his head in this way because now there's still, you know, a little bit of friction for me to get my arm really deep, okay? Turn this a little bit. So my arm starts to come in, I'm going to pull his head up to the ceiling so I can almost like uppercut this arm really deep, okay? So you see how my whole wrist comes out here on the other side. I don't want to just make it fingers because then it's going to be hard for me to lock this up. So I'm going to pull, shoot my arm really deep. Now my other arm comes over. I'm going to bring my wrist into the bend of my elbow and start to clasp onto my bicep here, okay? My other hand is going to go to the back of the shoulder and lat, all right? Now, the finish that I really like to do with the Darce is where I step over and kind of hook his hip almost as if I was mounting. The reason why I like to do that is because one common defense is for the person to walk their feet in a circle, almost giving like a north-south. Yes, and take away the angle of my choke, all right? So when I'm in here and I get this locked up, knowing that he might walk that way, I'm going to twist my hip and throw my foot and hook his hip. That way he can't take away my angle. Now I'm going to drive my shoulder into his armpit in the back of his shoulder here as I apply my squeeze. Just like this, okay? Let's go this way. So once again, this is coming off the same pass. Do my push-pull. Look for the double ankles. Little 1-2. Get that knee. Here, hand on the knee. Clear. He starts to turn to defend. Immediately, I slide my arm through. Another thing I like to do here sometimes, once I'm at this point, he's on his side, sometimes I'll look for the wrist and almost pull his arm into position to help me drop in here, okay? Now, right away, go to work on this head because you see I'm not deep enough yet, okay? So I want to palm his head, pull his ear to his shoulder, shoot my arm even deeper, and then immediately slide over and start to lock this nice and tight around my arm here, other hand at his shoulder and lat, okay? Now I'm going to switch my hip so I can take this step and lock his body so he can't unravel this angle. Drive the shoulder, look at my shoulder here, and then add the squeeze. There's your choke, all right? Let's do this side. One more time. Down, straight to our pass. You see how I use the wrist control to help guide it, okay? Bring my arm in, palm the head, shoot a little deeper, lock, twist, step, squeeze. If you're not so tall, where you can hook around the hip, even just hooking the back of their leg or anything like this is going to help keep them in position for the choke. All right, so just hook on to whatever you can grab. So now you guys can see how we're going to set up this Darce choke off of our kind of bullfight pass, and we're going to keep building and looking at lots more variations from this position.